Here's comedian Jerry Seinfeld appearing on the Merv Griffin Show in 1981. When the Seinfeld crew duplicated a Merv Griffin set in Kramer's apartment, many assumed this to be a nod to Jerry's earlier days. However, the set chosen for the Seinfeld parody, press play and or insert photo here, was not from Jerry's debut year or even a later appearance. As this channel has now routinely demonstrated, the Seinfeld Chronicles is not a show about nothing. Rather, it is one that pays subtle and often overt tribute to aliens, spaceships, UFO sightings, and related science fiction films. Once this is understood, it would be reasonable to look to see if the 1978 Merv Griffin set color scheme chosen for the Seinfeld homage was in any way related to alien spaceships. One doesn't have to look very long to confirm this notion. This is UFO contactee and retired U.S. Air Force Colonel William Coleman. He appeared with Mike Farrell in the 14 October 1988 broadcast of UFO Coverup Live to tell the tale of his June 1955 encounter with a UFO over Lower Alabama while flying a North American B-25 Mitchell bomber.
Headlines around the country aroused so much attention that the Air Force formed an official investigative unit, Project Blue Book. With me now are two retired Air Force colonels who were actively involved in that inquiry. Colonel Robert Friend, who headed up Project Blue Book for 5 years, and Colonel William Coleman, a former Air Force squadron commander who was Pentagon spokesman-in-chief of public information for the Air Force. Colonel Friend, Colonel Coleman, welcome. Have either of you ever seen a UFO?
Yes, it was 1955, and I was a squadron commander at the time. We were flying a B-25 over Alabama when we spotted a strange silvery object some 25,000 feet above us, heading in the same direction. Since we were overtaking it, I changed course and eventually got within 1/8 of a mile of it, literally right on top of the thing.
So you must have gotten a fairly good look at it.
We certainly did. The whole crew. It was wingless, a disc some 70 feet in diameter, 15 feet thick at the center, your average run-of-the-mill flying saucer.
And what happened then?
It performed an astonishing maneuver. 1 second it was there, the next it was gone. But we chased it and caught sight of it again. It was skimming over a farmer's field, kicking up vortexes of red dust as it flew. We closed in on it from behind the trees, but it vanished.
Did you make a report of this incident?
Well, I wrote up reports. I was later debriefed by an intelligence officer. And years later, when I was on Project Blue Book, I tried to find my report. It was not in the files.
Not in the files. Now, you say you saw this object at point-blank range. Could it have been a balloon or an experimental aircraft?
Absolutely not. It displayed a level of technology far beyond anything I had seen on the Earth then and now.
10 years prior to his appearance with Mike Farrell, Colonel Coleman appeared on the 28 March 1978 Merv Griffin Show to tell the very same story. Yet this wasn't the only UFO material to be found on Merv Griffin in its 15th season of 1978. The very day prior to Coleman's visit, on the 27th of March 1978, Gemini 5 astronaut Colonel Gordon Cooper appeared on Merv Griffin to surprise the live audience with some shocking comments. At the end of the interview, Griffin asked the former NASA astronaut, "There is a story going around, Gordon, that a spaceship did land in Middle America, and that there were occupants, and members of our government were able to keep one of the occupants alive for a period of time. They've seen the metal of the aircraft, and they know what the people look like. Is that a credible story?" With Griffin clearly expecting a humorous reply, Cooper responded, "I think it's fairly credible. I would like to see the time when all qualified people, not trying to make a dollar selling some weird stories, could really work together to properly investigate these stories and either refute or prove them." According to UFO researcher Lee Spiegel, Cooper admitted to me that he could have revealed more on the air, but he decided not to reveal his entire hand because he felt certain that some official eyebrows were going to get raised. He further indicated that he has several friends who were involved in the episode and knew a lot more than he had about the extraterrestrials that had been found inside this crashed UFO. But there's still more. Prior to these back-to-back revelations in March, Merv Griffin had hosted astronomer, ufologist, and former Project Blue Book consultant J. Allen Hynek, along with author Ray Bradbury, on the January 12th show.
Well, as we have been doing here, everybody is talking about UFOs. It's a subject that only gets more intriguing as time goes on. Right now, I want to welcome a man who pursued an avid interest in the future and outer space long before it became fashionable to do so. He's one of the world's most successful writers of science fiction. Books like The Illustrated Man and Fahrenheit 451 established his reputation. He continually turns out interesting speculations on man and his partnership with the universe. Currently, his stage adaptation, The Martian Chronicles, is playing here in Los Angeles, and we've invited him to offer his views on UFOs, among other topics. He rarely makes television appearances, and I'm very proud he's here. Ray Bradbury. Sounds like you have a cult following.
My family, yes.
Oh, hardly a cult.
These are the same people that have been at Close Encounters every day. Along with myself, I've seen it twice.
Have you?
And cried both times. I think it's a very emotional experience, very beautiful one. I think it's probably the most important film of the last 20 years. And I think a lot of people agree with me, don't they?
Which particular parts of it, Mr. Bradbury, got you intrigued?
I just like the whole thing. I like the idea that we not only have a technological film that's fun to look at. We've all enjoyed going to see science fiction films over the years. Star Wars is a lot of fun technically to watch, a lot of brilliant things. But finally, we have a film that philosophically and religiously ties everything together for us. We've been waiting for someone to add it up for us. We've had all the facts for a lot of years, haven't we, about how much a spaceship weighs and what its trajectory is and how long it takes to go to the moon or Mars. And we say, fine, we know that. But tell me, what is it all about? What is the universe about? How did we get here? Where are we going? The mystery of genetics is in us. We'd like to know more about that. Finally, this film comes along. Spielberg dares to make a huge metaphor that is so transcendent that it erases all the lines, all the boundaries between all the nations and all the races in 2 hours. And this film could play in every major city of the world and be understood. It can be translated in all the languages, and it erases every religious difference. A Zen Buddhist can look at this film, a Baptist, a Catholic, every racial group in the world, and it makes us all one flesh. 5 billion people on this planet, and we finally have a film that says, hey, color of skin doesn't count. Religion doesn't count. We are one race on a lonely planet. Let's begin behaving in relation to the universe. It's that big a picture.
Right.
I don't get these birds. They're breaking the deal. It's like the pigeons decided to ignore me.
So they're like everyone else. All right, let's take a short break. Okay, we're back.